Welcome to Lyxcode. In today's episode, I'm going to be showing you how to create a Discord model just like this one. So what it is, basically it's a new type of interaction, like just like commands, context, buttons. And this kind of interaction or model provides input options. So you can ask your members questions and stuff like that, and you can report back to them as a normal interaction. So this feature is not in version 13 of Discord.js, but will come out later on with Discord.js version 14. But as of now, it's already out on the Discord API, so we can use a package to basically utilize this tool before it comes out with the Discord.js version 13. So what we're going to be doing in this video is basically we're going to ask for an age. Let me remove my roles real quick. So we're going to ask your age, and if you reply with some kind of thing that isn't a number, it's going to tell you that age is a number, provided as such. But if you provide your age, basically if you're under 18, let's say 16, it's going to give you the role of 18 minus, and if you are the age of over 18, it's going to give you the role of 18 plus. It's a simple system to basically show you how this system works. Or Discord models works. So let's go ahead and start out. Alright, so let's start out by actually downloading the package that we're going to be utilizing for the model. So we're going to type npm I discord-modals inside of our terminal, hit enter, and that will download it for you. Now if you go ahead to your index.js, main.js, wherever your main is, where you log in with your client token, and look for the line where you define client, and in here we're gonna require the package. We're gonna type const discord models equals to require discord dash models, and under it we're gonna type discord models, and we're gonna parse the client instance that we created here on line 2. So pretty simple so far, and this will enable the client to receive events from this specific package. Alright, so we're gonna make a quick command. So let's go to our commands, let's create a folder and call it test. Let's create a file, and we will call the file, for example, deploy button. Alright, this is just as an example. I'm gonna show you an example. This might be something that you don't want in your server, but let's go ahead. So in here we're gonna require message, or actually let's require Discord first. Require discord.js. It's been a long time I recorded, so I'm kind of rusty. Alright, and here we're gonna type or we're gonna require message embed. What's happening? Message embed. Alright, and then we're gonna require message action row because we're gonna be creating buttons, and we're gonna require message button, and we can also require command interaction. Right, once that is done, we're gonna go down here and we're gonna model export, and we're gonna name the command, for example, deploy button or buttons, whatever you want, and names cannot be capital, so be sure to not have your names as capital. And now description, let's say for example this is a test. You can customize the system as much as you want. Permission for now we're gonna keep it as administrator because you don't want people spamming this button. Alright, now we're gonna execute, and we're gonna execute interaction, and we don't need clients, so we're not gonna execute clients, but we're gonna get our parameters for our interaction. Alright, once that is done, we're gonna go ahead and create the embed. So const embed equals to new message embed, and here we're gonna say in the description we're gonna say click what we're gonna be calling the button, answer, or click the answer button to provide your age, and then we're gonna set the color of the embed to be green. Simple embed. Alright, and now we're gonna define the button or the message action row. So let's type const we can type pro equals to new message action row, and then we're gonna type pro dot add component, and here we're gonna add the actual message button. So new message button, we're gonna set the custom ID to be, for example, age submit, let's say that, and then we need to set a label or set style also. Let's set style to success, and here we can set the label and say here answer as we said in our embed, if I can type correctly, and I apologize for my voice, I'm a little bit sick. Alright, once that is over, we're gonna basically reply with the message. Or reply with the embed and the message. So interaction reply and embeds, we're gonna include the embed that we created, and components, we're gonna include the row that we created. Alright, let's start our bot. Now let's go to Discord, and in a random channel, let's type, or let's actually do the command deploy buttons, and like we see here, we have our embed and button. Now if you click on the button, nothing is gonna happen. It's gonna give us an error because we're not really we're not listening on the button, so we have nothing to respond with. Alright, so if you watch, I think our latest episode where we created our button handler, we're gonna utilize it in this episode. So if you haven't gotten it yet, click the card up to the right of your screen to watch the video on it. Right, so we're gonna go to our buttons folder, we're gonna create a new folder, and we're gonna call it test for this episode. And then here we're gonna say submit, or we can age submit, for example, .js. And remember, we set the ID of this button, to age submit. So let's copy the ID. Let's go to our file here, age submit. We're gonna model export. And or actually we're gonna require a couple of stuff. So we're gonna require button interaction, we're gonna also require a client and message embed, and we're also gonna require modal from the Discord models, and we're gonna require text input component, and last we're gonna type show, or we're gonna require show model, which is the instance of the model. So we're gonna type model export in here. We're gonna provide the ID that we need to listen to, which is age submit, the name of the button that we created in here again. Alright, so basically what this means, because it's a handler, whenever that button is clicked, this file will execute, and here we're gonna execute. We're gonna need to execute the interaction and the client, and here we're gonna grab our parameters. So for the interaction, command interaction, and we don't need to require the client, but we'll do it just because why not. Alright, so now we're gonna open this brackets, and let's async this. Maybe you use a wait in somewhere if it's a large system. So in here we're gonna type const model equals the new model. So we're gonna create a new instance of the model. This is how we create it, and it's basically how you create buttons or select menus. It's extremely simple. So for the model itself, we're gonna set the custom ID to be age model, for example, and we're gonna set the title of it to be age selector. We can customize this too. And here we're gonna add the components, basically the same principle as the message action rows. So we're gonna add a new component, and it's gonna be text input, because we want the user to input a number, and then we're gonna set the custom ID of it to be the same age model, doesn't matter, and then set label, and here we're gonna say age selector again. And this will come in handy if you have multiple text inputs, so you can change this, for example, for age system or wherever. Alright, so we're gonna set style is gonna be short, alright, and then we're gonna set the minimum length is 1. Basically, I mean, if you're older than 100, then you can set the minimum, let's go ahead and set maximum length to, and it's gonna be 2. But if you're 100 years old, you can also set it to 3, whatever you want. Alright, so because we're gonna have the user type, for example, 14, 15, 18, 19, you know, it's only 2 digits. So basically the maximum length is gonna be 2. And then we're gonna set the placeholder. And here we're gonna say provide your age, simple. And then we're gonna set it to be required, because it is a required input. Once that is done, we're gonna go ahead here and we're gonna type show model, and in here we're gonna parse the model, and inside of an object we're gonna pass in the client as this client and interaction as this interaction. So far so good. And actually we do not need the message embed, or for that matter either client, to be honest with you. Alright, so once that is done, let's restart our bot and test our code. And now if we click on this button, the model should appear, and like you see here, age selector, provide your age, and yeah. Now if we do whatever in here, you see I cannot type more than 2 digits, and I cannot leave it empty because it must be 1 character or more in length. But whenever I hit submit, it's gonna not gonna do anything because we're not listening to it. So now let's listen to it. We're gonna go to our events folder, we're gonna create a new folder, and we're gonna call it test, for example, and then here we're gonna call it, for example, age finish, whatever. My file naming is terrible, guys, so don't listen to me on file naming. Name it whatever you want, so don't blame me. Right, so in here we're gonna require client message embed because we're gonna be replying with an embed, and then we're gonna require the model, and we're gonna model export, and we're gonna listen on the model submit event. Now if you have the old what's called event name validation system, add this to the array. Alright, so now we're gonna execute. Arguments always come first before the client, so but we don't need the client in this case, so we're gonna execute only the model, and we're gonna grab our parameters. And for that matter, I don't know why I'm requiring client, to be honest with you. I'm just used to it. So let's remove client, and we're gonna define model as model. Not that this is matters because it doesn't give a lot of properties, but just so we can get a little help. So in here we're gonna type if model dot custom id is not equal to age model, whatever we set where is it, this as, then we're gonna return. So we're gonna exit out to this file, we're not gonna do anything about it. And then here we're gonna await, and to use await you need to have async, and here we're gonna await model.defer. You see there is not a lot of properties. Defer reply, and it's gonna be ephemeral. And how do you type ephemeral? Alright, I'm guessing this is how you type it. So if we get an error, we'll fix it. Yeah, so now we're gonna go down here and define the age, const age equals to model dot get what was it, get text input value, just like this, and we're gonna get it from the age model, which is this one. Alright, once we get it, we're gonna check if the text that the user submitted is an actual number. So we're gonna check if isNaN. isNaN stands for is not a number, and here we're gonna provide the age. So if it's not a number, then we're gonna return with an interaction model follow-up, because it's not really an interaction we're planning to, or it is technically an interaction, but this is how this model executes it, follow up. And here we're gonna create an embed inside the embeds array. We're gonna say set color red, and here we're gonna say age is a number, provide it as such. Alright, we're gonna go down a couple more lines, and I went ahead and created 2 roles before this episode, and one role is called 18 plus, one is called 18 minus. So in here, and we're not gonna have it on the server by the way, because it's unnecessary to ask people for their age. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna get the IDs. So let's copy the 18 plus ID. Just showing you an example with this. So const, let's say old age equals, or older age equals to model dot guild. We're gonna get the guild object from the model. roles.cache.get, and we're gonna get it, and then const younger age equals to model.guide.roles.cache.get, and we're gonna get the 18 minus, and we're gonna check. So if age is bigger than 18, so if the age provided is higher than 18, then we're gonna model.member.roles.add, we're gonna add the old or the older age, else we're gonna model.member.roles.add younger age. So if the age provided is bigger than 18, we're gonna provide them with the 18 plus role, but if it's not, then it's younger, because we have two options only. Then we're gonna give them the younger role. Then we're gonna model.followup, we're gonna follow up with an embed, so new message embed, and then here we're gonna say or set the color to be green, and then set description to be thank you, your role has been added. Pretty simple. Now let's restart the bot. Let me make sure I'm recording. Yes sir. And then let's go to the Discord and click on the button again, and here we're gonna get the age selector. And what we're gonna be doing in here is, let's say for example, let's see if I have any roles. I'm gonna remove them for me. So I'm gonna answer as my age is 14, and or actually I'm gonna answer as a text first, so as submit, and it's gonna tell us age is a number provided as such. So that's how we error handle. Now I'm gonna provide that I'm 15 years old, submit, and it should say your role has been added. It did not. Let's see why. Cannot send an empty. Yeah, because we spelled embeds wrong. It needs to be embeds, not embed. So let's do that again. All right, answer, and let's say 15. And like you see here, thank you, your role has been added, and I should have the 18 minus role, like you see here. Now if I type I'm for example 20, I'm gonna submit this, and like you see here, the role 18 plus has been added. So it's a pretty cool system. Yeah, you can do so much with it. I remember I did a commission on a mod mail system that utilized this this menu to provide server ideas and such. So you can do a lot of things with it. So I hope you guys enjoyed this episode, and I hope to see you in the next one.